Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6. Generosity has a way of shaping not just the lives of others, but our own. This is the story of Alex, a man who learned that what we give comes back to us in ways we can't always predict. Alex had everything he thought he needed. His job as a financial analyst paid well, allowing him to live in a sleek apartment in the city and indulge in the finer things. His closet was filled with tailored suits, and his weekends were spent dining at upscale restaurants with friends. On the surface, his life looked perfect, but beneath the polished exterior, Alex often felt a nagging emptiness. He had no close relationships, no sense of purpose beyond climbing the corporate ladder. He dismissed these feelings, telling himself that success would eventually fill the void. One morning, Alex stopped at his favorite coffee shop on his way to work. As he sipped his latte, he noticed an older man sitting by the window, his clothes worn and his hands rough. The man was reading a newspaper, occasionally glancing at the world outside. Alex felt a twinge of pity, but quickly returned to scrolling through his phone. When he left the shop, he barely noticed the man still sitting there. But over the next few days, Alex saw the man again and again, always in the same spot, with the same tired look in his eyes. Something about him tugged at Alex's thoughts. Who was he? Why was he always alone? One day, Alex decided to approach the man. He bought a second coffee and placed it on the man's table. "Here," Alex said awkwardly. "Thought you might want this." The man looked up, startled. His face softened into a grateful smile. "Thank you," he said quietly. Alex hesitated, then sat down. "I've seen you here a lot. Do you live nearby?" The man nodded. "I'm James," he said. "Used to work in construction, but times change, you know. Now I'm just trying to get by." Their conversation was brief, but it stayed with Alex. That small act of kindness had felt more meaningful than anything he'd done in months. The next week, Alex's company announced a volunteer initiative at a local community center. Employees were encouraged to spend a Saturday helping with food distribution and mentoring programs. At first, Alex dismissed the idea. His weekends were for relaxing, not volunteering. But something made him pause. Why not, he thought. It's just one day. When Alex arrived at the community center, he felt out of place among the other volunteers. But as the day went on, he found himself genuinely enjoying the work. He helped sort donations, served meals, and even struck up conversations with the people who came for assistance. One of those people was James. "You again," James said with a grin. "Looks like you're making a habit of this generosity thing." Alex laughed. "Maybe. It feels good." That Saturday changed something in Alex. He began volunteering regularly at the community center, not just serving meals, but also offering his financial expertise to help people manage their money. As he got to know the people there, Alex realized how much he had taken for granted. His wealth and opportunities weren't just for his own benefit. They could be used to help others. One evening, after a long day at work, Alex stayed up late thinking about James. He decided to do more than just offer coffee and conversation. Alex reached out to his network and helped James find part-time work at a local warehouse. When Alex told him the news, James's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know how to thank you," he said. "Just pay it forward," Alex replied. Not everyone understood Alex's new priorities. Some of his friends teased him, saying he was wasting his time. "You're too generous," one of them said during dinner. "It's not like you're going to change the world." Alex shrugged. "Maybe not, but I can change someone's world." Still, doubt crept in at times. Balancing his demanding job with volunteering wasn't easy, and there were moments when he questioned whether his efforts really mattered. But every time he saw the impact he was making, whether it was James's smile or a thank you from a struggling family, he was reminded of the verse he had seen on a flyer at the community center. "Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously." Months passed, and Alex's life began to transform. His focus shifted from accumulating wealth to creating impact. The emptiness he had once felt started to fade, replaced by a sense of fulfillment. One day, Alex was approached by a man at the community center. "You're the guy who helped James, right?" he asked. Alex nodded. "Well, he told me what you did. That job you helped him get?" It allowed him to save enough money to get his own place. He's been helping me out now, too. It's like you started a chain reaction. Alex felt a lump in his throat. He had sown a small seed, but the harvest was greater than he could have imagined. As Alex continued his journey, he began to see generosity as more than an action. It was a mindset, a way of living. He realized that the more he gave, the more he gained, not in material wealth, but in relationships, purpose, and joy. At the end of a particularly long day at the community center, James stopped Alex before he left. "I don't think you realize how much you've done," James said. "Not just for me, but for so many people here. You've given us more than help. You've given us hope." Alex smiled, his heart full. "And you've all given me more than I could ever give back," he replied. "Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously." 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6. Alex's story reminds us that generosity isn't about how much we have. It's about how much we're willing to give. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, is a seed that has the power to grow beyond what we can see. When we sow generously, whether with our time, resources, or compassion, we not only impact the lives of others but also enrich our own. How can you plant seeds of generosity in your life today?